You're listening to DraftKings Network.
Folks, the playoff season is here, and the only thing better than the game day predictions are the foods that come with them. Introducing Tums Fantasy Foodball Pool, brought to you by Tums, America's #1 antacid brand, and DraftKings. Each week leading up to the big game, turn football into foodball by building your best game day plate for a shot at winning a share of $40,000 in cash prizes. Inspired by game day bites and tailgate treats, join the Tums Foodball action during this playoff season's most heartburn-inducing times. Visit DraftKings.com/TumsFoodball between January 6th and February 9th to enter for free and select your game day plate before the start of each playoff round. Age and eligibility restrictions apply. Void where prohibited. See terms at DraftKings.com/TumsFoodball. When you feel the heat of the game, don't let the heartburn keep you on the sidelines. Try Tums Chewy Bites with a tasty outer shell and soft center for fast relief of heartburn, acid indigestion, and upset stomach. Check out Tums Gummy Bites, featuring a soft and easy-to-chew format for fast relief of occasional heartburn, acid indigestion, sour stomach, and upset stomach. Both available at Amazon, Target, and other major retailers nationwide. And for more heartburn relief fun, be sure to follow Tums at Tums Official on Instagram and TikTok.
Ever since switching to T-Mobile, something weird has been happening. I get to cut lines.
Oh, right this way.
Who, me? I can stream shows at 30,000 feet. And I was able to buy reserve tickets for my favorite band.
It's not just you. With T-Mobile, everyone can get VIP status. That means access to exclusive events and experiences just for being a customer. At T-Mobile, VIP means YOU. Check out the VIP treatment at T-Mobile.com/benefits.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz podcast.
This episode of the Dan Le Batard Show with Stugotz is presented by Venmo.
Juju, please put this on the poll, and I ask for the audience for submissions as well at Le Batard Show. Which of these cars would you be most likely to buy? The Volkswagen Bolitnikov, the Ford Tagliabue, the Chrysler Concepcion, the Chevy Terrassi.
That's close.
That's good.
It's close. Tags is still atop the mountain.
Can I add one? A Dodge Durant.
You think the Dodge Durant is better than the Dodge Dorset or the Dodge Saberhagen?
I like Durant.
You like the alliteration?
Yeah,
you like
I really
the
do.
DD?
Terrassi, I guess because it's so close to Taurus, but Tagliabue.
I don't think we beat Tagliabue
I don't think
yet.
we've beaten Tagliabue yet either. At Le Batard Show, David Samson is with us. His podcast, Nothing Personal, covers an array of topics that is super unusual, and I don't think there's an individual host I've heard anywhere in sports with the terrain that he is covering in sports business and complicated issues. David, thank you for joining us. Before we get to the sports things of the day, though, the Oscars, you are obsessed with the Oscars more than just about anything in entertainment. Everything just came out. What is your experience with this stuff? Are you waiting somewhere at the appointed time to make sure you get the information because you care so much about whether or not the things that you thought were great in the movies are validated by the Academy?
Well, I do a live show for Metalark from 8 to 8:50 a.m. Eastern, and the Oscar nominations come out at 8:30. And so for the last many years, I have missed the live announcement, and I asked Coca, the producer, to feed the nominations in my ear as they're happening, and he refuses to do it because we're in the middle of a show. So then I end the show, and now I have to talk about them tomorrow, but I'm already caught completely up to date, and it's one of the great sadnesses of my life that I miss the live nomination announcements. I used to love it. There were times during owners' meetings when I would step out because they would happen things were different this year because of the fires, but normally on a Tuesday when I'd be in a meeting or a Thursday, whatever the day is, and I would literally step out and watch it live, but not this year, Dan.
David, what's going on with this Emilia Perez thing? Because look, for the record, I haven't seen it yet. I haven't been moved to see it. A lot of people whose opinion I value told me, like, this is not nomination worthy. And it's one thing to be nominated for a Golden Globe, but now it's nominated for Best Picture. It's got the lowest Rotten Tomatoes score by far. Not that that's going to be the end all and be all by it, but I've just seen like isolated clips of this film, and it's kind of confirming to me that it's probably not that great. Surely there had to be a better film to round out this nomination field for Best Picture, no?
Well, it actually leads with 13 nominations, and it helps that it's in the international category. It's unbelievable. The story itself is unbelievable. Forget the fact that it's the first trans woman to be nominated for Best Actress, and her performance as Emilia Perez is the best of the year, but Demi Moore is certainly in leading right now to win Best Actress. But you've got songs, you've got music, you've got a story, you've got drugs, you've got sex, you've got Selena Gomez. You've got an unbelievably gripping tale of what it is to be in a cartel and decide that you've had a crisis of conscience, and it makes you change your entire life, including leaving your wife and kids in order to live your truth. And living truth when you've been part of murder and mayhem and money is quite difficult. It's an extraordinary movie, and before you criticize it, you should watch it.
Why is there such a disparity between nominations and a Rotten Tomatoes score? Is it because it gets politicized? Because anything on the internet that is made by someone who's a minority or a group that is transgender, you're going to get a wild fluctuation on the politics of a review?
No, I think it's anything without an exclamation point or a part 2 or Ryan Reynolds doesn't get enough attention. So this is just a movie that's not for everyone because it requires your head and your heart. And there's a lot of movies out there that are made for the lowest common denominator, and this is not one of them. And one of the great criticisms of the Oscars is that it really brings movies that are not widely seen to the forefront. Well, go see them because they're really good, and you shouldn't be afraid to learn. It's like, oh, this won the Pulitzer Prize. I can't read it. I'm going to stick with just reading Stugotz's book. That's not how it's supposed to be. You're supposed to read books that improve your knowledge and intellect. And I think that's the same with movies.
So what you're talking about, Dan, and things being politicized, what's interesting about this is like the communities are sort of split on this. There have actually been several LGBTQ critics of this movie saying things such as it seemed like the filmmaker was painting trans women as liars. And GLAAD said it was a profoundly retrograde portrayal of trans women. So that's been most of what I have been seeing is actually people criticizing it from that perspective of, no, this isn't actually, even though we're using inclusion and using a trans woman as an actor and all of those things, it's actually sort of backwards in some of its ideals there. And so that's, I think, part of what has been the conflict. And also that Selena Gomez is not speaking very good Spanish.
The movie that we reviewed last week, Chasing Amy, had a lot of people from inside the LGBTQ community criticizing the movie Chasing Amy as though it did not properly portray what it is to be lesbian, or that you can become not a lesbian if you have Ben Affleck. Everybody's so quick to stand up and try to criticize. To me, I look at Emilia Perez, I look at it as a movie. I don't look at it as a trans movie or an LGBTQ movie or a black and white movie or a musical. I look at it as see what the story is, see what the acting is, the writing, the directing, the music, and it's got all of that. And so that is the reason why I'm a supporter of it.
David, Challengers, biggest snub, not getting a Best Score nomination?
Well, Atticus and Ross, as you know, they basically, the minute they put a note down, they're going to get a nomination. So that was a big surprise. The Challengers got nothing. There was a possibility in screenplay, but original score was supposed to be it. And listen, the movies that were nominated in original score category, there are no schleppers in the category. The biggest snub of all for me happened in the documentary category, but you're right. Challengers not getting any love was certainly disappointing.
Don't you think that the film itself didn't do the score any favors? Because, like, in a vacuum, I loved the score too, but by the end, it was almost used comedically, and I found myself literally laughing at the score and the way that the film was using it. I guess that might be an argument for why it should be nominated.
Exactly.
But
yes, I agree.
That's
I
the
think
best
that's
score ever.
It's like it's so good and it adds so much to that. Like picture that movie without the score. It's kind of like what?
It's just like a horny alarm that goes off. Like anytime it gets horny, we play this music.
The point. It's awesome.
But it's making me laugh at the end and not taking it as seriously. But I guess that's the point. I'm not supposed to take it seriously.
And you know how scores happen in that the movie is filmed, there's no music to it, and then you go into a edit bay and the movie is playing and there's the director sort of watching over the people doing the score and they're adding music. It changes the whole movie.
Yeah.
Scores to a movie actually are maybe the single most important thing that gets done after filming, even more so than editing.
Well, editing's up there, but you ain't lying, especially for certain genres. For horror, there's certain movies that you can't even imagine, like Psycho or Jaws, you can't imagine without the score. I guess the score in this film becomes a character in its own right. So, again, more arguments for it being nominated.
Look at this. Typical sports show arguing about scores. What are we doing?
David, I don't think that Mike Ryan and the time works out so that Mike Ryan can indeed nominate Mission Impossible for this year's Oscars, but it has been reported that someone had a heart attack while watching.
An almost heart attack.
An almost, well, it's a heart. No, it can be a heart
almost
attack.
Heart attack?
It can't. No, it's a heart attack, but it didn't end in death. It's still a heart attack. Is
It's
it
like
not?
when your right arm cramps. That's like an almost heart attack.
Yes,
You're like,
because of the stressful situation that I assume happens underwater. Keep in mind, Final Reckoning, it was supposed to be, the original thing was Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1. And they've just gotten rid of that, and they're just calling MI8 The Final Reckoning. But it is almost it is a direct sequel from the events that what happened in Dead Reckoning Part 1, which, as you know, has a submarine submerged in the Arctic waters. Ethan's going to have to go down there and get something. So I imagine he's going to drown and die for possibly the third time in this franchise.
Samson has very little interest in the Mission Impossible movies. But
Why?
That's not true at all.
No, it's the greatest action franchise of all time.
Yeah,
Full
that's
stop.
not true what you just said. It's not just because it's not Academy worthy in acting or in directing or in writing does not mean I don't love being entertained. I've seen every single one. I don't like when you put me in the box because it serves the show or serves
you know what?
to have
Forgive me. I will apologize to you. I simply don't think of you and action movies because you never come on here wanting to talk action movies. I didn't think of that as a genre that you partook in because I can't recall in 20 years doing this with you coming on here wanting to review an action movie.
Well, the reason is that you guys do that without me, and what I try to do, including the movie I want to review today, is a movie that I don't know if everybody's going to see, and if even 5 listeners or whatever your reach and roar is, if anyone gets out of their comfort zone, and just the way Mike Ryan has me get out of mine and watch movies that I otherwise would not watch, including what I'm watching this weekend, Mike, is nominated for 4 Oscars, is your best movie of the year.
Are you saying Nosferatu?
I just didn't want to say Nosferatu. I wanted you to say it because it's your movie.
To be clear,
I'm going to see it.
To be clear, it was a film that excited me the most. I don't think the best movie that I think I've seen all year from 2024 is probably Anora, but I have to get around. I haven't seen the bulk of the Best Picture nominations. I'll get around to every single one of them. I am a little disappointed that Nosferatu didn't crack like some of the 10 best films. I thought it did get nominated for cinematography, which I thought was just jaw-dropping in this film. So I'm happy that I'm getting you out of your comfort zone. And as you might agree that horror is really pushing like some of the most creative boundaries in cinema right now.
Well, I'm hoping it's not a jump scare horror movie because the last movie that you said I shouldn't watch, it really wasn't a horror movie. It was just a horror to watch it. So I do view those as different. The genre of horror to watch, you can put Schindler's List in that. Horror movie to me is, The Exorcist and The Shining. But I assume that Nosferatu is not that sort of movie. At least I hope not.
No, it's not that.
I want to ask Mike and David a question. When you both said during this segment, as you know, to us, did you guys think we really knew or were you faking it? As you know, as a crutch, were you confident that we knew or were you just lying to us being polite?
I'll start with that. That's a verbal crutch that I do that comes off as hugely condescending. and I shouldn't do it. Because when I say as you know, what I'm really saying to someone, whether it's in a negotiation or just in a conversation, is listen, idiot, I don't want to have to say this again. If you don't know this, it should be sort of imputed knowledge. So it's really said negatively, and I will try to cut that out of my speech patterns.
But do you recall what both of you said to us on As You Know? Because I don't know, but I didn't know when you said it. And in both instances, both of you were saying something that I thought was obscure enough that the audience and me did not know, would not know, could not be expected to know. I may have that wrong. I did kind of stop listening because it was so condescending.
David, are you in a retirement home?
No, I'm in the Otis Saga Hotel in Cooperstown, not a retirement home.
Oh, nice drapes.
It's a place where Hall of Famers are. So I agree with you. It looks on the old side. It is on the old side.
I'm telling you right now.
You're on a wooden chair.
The furniture behind you is so very Cooperstown. It smells from here like Cooperstown. I feel like somebody in the 1930s has sat in that chair after being on a train riding across the country with Dizzy Dean.
I had the weirdest thing happen in my room today is that while I was in the bathroom and getting ready for my shows and going to sleep, I was thinking about which Hall of Famers were in this room, because this is where the Hall of Famers stay when they get inducted in July, and all the Hall of Famers come back, and we're here today to introduce the new class of Hall of Famers. And I never think this way because I always want to assume I'm the first tuchus to be in any room I'm in, because otherwise it's too gross. But I was thinking, like, what if Johnny Bench squatted right here? And I assume that something happened just like that in
that
room.
Hotel, just visually, definitely haunted. Like there has
doubt.
absolutely been ghost ass on that toilet.
David,
Call it the Nutmobile.
If you're a pet parent like me, you know about Chewy. When they say they have everything you need to keep your pet healthy and happy, they're not messing around. Oh, look at this good boy and good girl over here taking an early morning siesta after their breakfast with the food we got from Chewy. Hassle-free, with auto-ship. To keep Dopey happy, Chewy offers over 100,000 products from brands my pets love. At prices I love too. Foods, treats, toys, beds, you name it, they've got it. To keep Izzy healthy, Chewy's got me covered with pet prescriptions, insurance, telehealth vet visits, and even vet clinics rolling out nationwide. My favorite feature? Auto ship. I never run out of essentials like food or litter. And I can update or cancel anytime, so no guilt trips from Dopey or Izzy. And everything ships right to your door in just 1 to 2 days. Oh, and Chewy isn't just for dogs and cats. They've got birds, fish, reptiles, and more covered too. Chewy has everything you need to keep your pet happy and healthy. Right now, you can save $20 on your first order and get free shipping by going to chewy.com/Dan. That's chewy.com/Dan to save $20 on your first order with free shipping. chewy.com/DAN. Minimum purchase required. New customers only. Terms and conditions apply. See site for complete details.
Hey friends, Jeremy here, and like a lot of you, I imagine, I'm someone who has multiple jobs, wearing multiple hats, working all sorts of different hours throughout the week, and it can be kind of exhausting. Did you know that sleep is actually one of the most important parts of recovery? Whether you're a pro athlete or you're just looking to crush your day, getting the right kind of rest is key, and that's where Sleep Number smart beds come in. Because since 2018, Sleep Number has partnered with the NFL to help elite athletes get the quality sleep they need to perform at their best. In fact, 80% of NFL players sleep on a Sleep Number smart bed. That's unbelievable. Tough workout? The Sleep Number smart bed can be adjusted to suit your needs. Firmer one night, softer the next, giving you the ultimate recovery boost. And let's talk about those sweaty, sleepless nights. I know they happen a lot here in South Florida. Well, the new Climate Cool smart bed adjusts up to 15 degrees cooler on either side with scientifically designed cooling programs to keep you comfortable and undisturbed. Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed? So you can choose your ideal comfort on either side. And now save 40% on the new special edition smart beds. Ends Monday. Shop a Sleep Number store near you. Sleep Number, official sleep and wellness partner of the NFL. See store or sleepnumber.com for details.
Hey, Jeremy.
Yes, Mike?
Have you ever had a fireside conversation during a football Sunday during the winter?
Sure.
We don't have a lot of fireplaces down here, but I've had the premise of it.
I wish I could, but it's South Florida. When it gets down to the 60s, we're like, we're bundled up, but certainly no fireplaces. Still too warm for that. But we do have our football Sundays. And one thing that always makes football Sundays good, and I know you've had plenty of experience in your life with this, Miller time.
Oh, yeah.
Miller Lite makes the winter better. It makes football Sundays better. It makes even hanging out around you better.
Thanks, Mike. That was kind.
I appreciate that. You're my friend. When I have a Miller Lite in my hand, pretty much everybody is my friend because we are like-minded. Because we like beer that actually tastes like beer. Oh, and now, the new year, it's the perfect time to have a Miller time. Miller Lite is brewed for taste. People out there, I want you to listen to me. And Jeremy, you too. Because you know, it hits just different than other light beers. The original light beer since 1975, and still the very best one. Miller Lite. Great taste, 96 calories. Go to MillerLite.com/Dan to find delivery options near you. Or you can pick up some Miller Lite pretty much anywhere they sell beer. Tastes like Miller time. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces.
Dan Le Batard.
You don't remember the idea for
I
a
was
home
probably
run
like, that kind of thing. Something.
Okay, no, the home run call was that kind of swing, that kind of thing.
Stugotz.
Oh, it's a good call.
Thank you. And plus, it doesn't matter who's hitting it. Like, you're not tailoring it to a particular name. You know, all that jazz. You know, you don't got to do that. You just
that would be a great call.
That kind of swing, that kind of thing.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz.
David, as you know, there is a controversy surrounding The Brutalist and its use of post-production AI to refine some of the Hungarian accents, which affects the performance and how we perceive them of some of these actors directly. And it may actually cost The Brutalist a Best Picture because it seemed like all the momentum was going towards that. But now you're going to have an AI debate surrounding one of the most critically acclaimed films of the year. What's your take on this?
Yeah, there are people in the industry who know the truth about this, which is that sort of AI engagement has been going on for a long time. And somehow it just came out, and you'd have to wonder, what is it a coincidence that it's around The Brutalist, which is obviously a controversial topic. It's a 3.5-hour movie that will make people examine things they'd prefer not to examine. But the movies, and as you know, Mike, there's a lot of fake stuff in the movies. As a matter of fact, everything is fake. Now, Tom Cruise may do his own stunts. Good for him, but there's a lot of stuff going on in Mission Impossible that may not exactly be as it seems, and the way movies are edited and cut and the way in which they're filmed, it's all meant to make the audience think something is happening for art's sake that's actually not happening. And if you think AI, the whole reason for the strikes was what AI was going to be used for. And if you take it even further, could AI replace certain things? And the answer is it certainly can, and it will.
Put it on the poll, please, Juju, at Le Batard Show. What would you be more likely to drive, a Porsche Candiati or a Lamborghini Scalabrini? At Le Batard Show, which one of those two automobiles would you be more likely to drive? David, I know that the audience and everyone here is tired of Jimmy Butler stuff. Do you have anything interesting that you believe is not being said at this trough of Pat Riley's way is being undermined from the inside in a way? And one of the reasons this show is reacting this way is because we've never seen it before.
I just hope Pat Riley stands his ground, actually. I hope that he tells the other teams, whether it's Phoenix, it doesn't matter who, that this is the package he wants, and he won't take anything less. And if Phoenix can go out and get it from Utah and myriad other teams and deliver to Pat a huge win for his franchise, then I'm happy to trade Jimmy. Otherwise, I'm happy to let him sit. Shooting 9 shots a game, playing 24 minutes a game, suspend him for whatever he does and try to save the money for Mickey. I'm in on all of it. I think that Pat Riley is over player empowerment, and he is manifesting this sort of angst and sick of it, and he's doing it all directed toward Jimmy, and I'm here for it. But in terms of his team and our team, I hope that he does not give in and trade Jimmy without getting back what he wants.
Jeremy, would you look something up for me, please? Because I should make a correction. While I've never seen it happen to Pat Riley in Miami, I did see it happen to him in New York. One of the famous funny stories is Anthony Mason was one of his players. Anthony Mason, Jay Fiedler's brother, at Le Batard Show, put that on the poll. Did you know that Anthony Mason and Jay Fiedler were brothers at Le Batard Show? He was having all sorts of problems with Anthony Mason. He suspends Anthony Mason, or there was a fight or something, and Anthony Mason was seen at a time that people thought he should be taking basketball very seriously in the audience of the Ricky Lake Show. And this was a very big controversy in New York that Pat Riley couldn't get control of Anthony Mason. Look up the details for me on that, because Anthony Mason had a number of different conflicts. It's what he's doing, David. What you said he's doing appears to be what he is doing. And I was just talking about what a misery it would be to step into that place. Like, I understand the player's got the power and stuff, and the player will make a mess, but man, what a misery. Like, if Jimmy Butler thought he wasn't having joy playing basketball before, to show up to work just to collect your paycheck so that your entire team could be looking for things you're doing wrong so that they could suspend you again, like, that's a horseshit situation to be in, to be walking into every day as an employee.
Haven't you ever been in an atmosphere in a relationship where people are separated or divorced but living in the same house for whatever financial reason, or people at work who don't get along but show up just to get their paycheck, and you can tell who those people are, that they're trying very hard not to do anything so they get suspended or they get fired? This happens in every workplace in the world, and basketball is no exception to that. And the thing is, in sports, we try to give in to players so much because we're worried about PR. Well, Pat Riley, with age and with success, hopefully is getting back to the point where his give-a-shit meter has lowered to the point where he doesn't get impacted by anyone saying or thinking anything about what he's doing. And that's why I think Jimmy Butler should just rot at the end of the bench. I wouldn't trade him even if I got the package I wanted for spite alone.
Oh,
but
my
I think
God.
Pat, I'm just telling you what I would do to Jimmy Butler for what he's doing to Pat Riley if I were Pat Riley. But I think Pat understands that if he can get the exact right package, he'll take it.
David, in your time with the Marlins, I wonder if you ever had a player who presented to you a Butler-type situation.
So the minute we left, Greg, Christian Yelich did it to Derek Jeter, and Derek Jeter sent Christian Yelich to the Brewers in what became one of the worst trades the franchise has done, except for the ones I did. And that was a major thing when the player doesn't want to be there. And Derek Jeter actually went public saying, I don't want players around who don't want to be here. Stanton many times said to me that he wanted to be traded. He wasn't happy with the direction of the franchise. And we had just said to him, we're not trading you. As a matter of fact, we're going to offer you so much money that we're going to make you stay here forever. And which is what we did. So there were players throughout, but a lot of them were side players, like a Jeff Baker, who is just a miserable, unhappy player. And what you do in that case is just release him.
David, good seeing you. Thank you. The podcast is Nothing Personal. I urge you to check it out, no matter where he is in the world, even if it's a haunted hotel in Cooperstown. He is doing it daily. Thank you, sir. Appreciate the time.
Take care.
I should have mentioned to him, and I will tell the audience, he did some very good work on Ichiro. He knows Ichiro, and I know that Greg Cody had his Hall of Fame ballot and was passionate about it, and we never got to yesterday all of the arguments that were breaking out all over the studio about an assortment of things. I heard you telling your son that you regret not voting for Juan Pierre. I thought you mishandled yesterday's show. I thought you creating the illusion that you were the voter who had snubbed Ichiro, the one vote that didn't make it unanimous for Ichiro. We still don't know who that voter is, correct? I believe that that voter has been called a numbskull by John Heyman, protector of the Hall of Fame and all sacred baseball things. And that voter hasn't been smoked out yet, correct? So that people can shame him or her for his or her terrible vote?
What are you willing to call them? Are you willing to go to dipshit?
Well, Greg Cody has a list, thank you for asking, Jessica, that is expanding throughout the show. Stugotz was helping him with it. It used to be a top 5 list of old people insults because Numbskull is very good, but now we're ready to do top 10. Top 10 Greg Cody old people insults. Any OLI, or are we going straight to number 10?
We've cut out all the fat. We're getting right to the meat.
All right. Number 10.
Dipshit.
What is that?
Strong 10.
What is that?
It's a good question. We're on it.
A guy who doesn't vote for Ichiro to be in the Hall of Fame.
Nice. Okay.
I've got other questions like this because I put it on the poll. Do you know what a dipshit actually is? Because I don't know it as anything other than an insult. But I was thinking the other day out of nowhere on Mother Bleeper. Is that someone who bleeps mothers or screws them over? Like, which Mother Bleeper is someone who has sex with mothers or just screws them over? Someone who betrays mothers? I don't know which one of those two things it is.
I lean betrayal.
Do you?
Yeah, I think I would too.
You guys don't, you don't, okay. I would have assumed that that's someone who's having sex with mothers.
Then that would be a compliment. That'd be a cool guy.
Would it be?
That motherfucker.
In this country?
Oedipus.
So in the 1930s, dip didn't just mean like dipping something into something. It also was a slang term that meant fool or simpleton. So it was just basically combining that.
So a fool dipped in shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Number 9.
Doofus.
Number 8.
Blockhead.
I think that's
dipshit.
I had a dipshit.
Hey, it's my list. Get your own.
Fair enough.
Number 7.
Buffoon.
Number 6.
Numbskull.
5.
Loon.
That's very high. 4.
Fiend.
That's made a comeback. Number 3.
Nitwit.
That's a good one. What is a nitwit? What is just
I got your back.
It's just something that
Nit
rhymes
as
with
in
wit.
No wit.
Number 2.
Feels like this could have been a top 5.
Gutter snipe.
What?
Gutter snipe.
Put it on the poll, please, Juju. Have you ever heard the insult gutter snipe? Number 1. That's very high.
Nincompoop.
Nit comes from the Dutch word meaning nothing or not, combined with wit, which is,
no
signifying
wit.
one's
You got it.
intelligence.
Yes.
Witless.
Very good at origin words, I guess.
Put it on the poll, please, Juju, at Lebatard Show. I think the audience is going to side with me on this. I also think it's not something the audience has considered. Mother bleeper, ? Someone who bleeps mothers or bleeps them over at Lebatard Show.
I got your back. Hang on.
Thank you, Mike. I do appreciate you chasing all of these things down. Like the old days, it feels good. It feels good to just have Mike Ryan chase things around for me.
Honestly, AI has made this so much easier.
Where did you land, Cody, on Ichiro? Because one of the things that I have been trying to celebrate in sports around here over the last, I'm going to say, 10 years of watching everything become content, argument, culture, everything is to be complained about in sports instead of celebrating, is just that we're living in an era of real mastery. Like, to see LeBron postering people at 40 is crazy. Even as LeBron and Anthony Davis are saying we don't have enough help, it's just crazy to see Ohtani doing what he's doing after seeing Serena Williams do what she did. But what Ichiro did as mastery, because it came from another land and because he wasn't revealing in interviews and it could be hard to traverse the cultural language barrier, I don't think that people understand what we're talking about with what Ichiro could do with a baseball bat that had no precedent in the sport. I remember being in a clubhouse one time with Rafael Palmeiro and a baseball bat, and he is holding the baseball bat and he's bouncing the baseball on the baseball bat, and he could do it for an hour.
Like Tiger did with like a
he
ball?
could do it for an hour because he just knows how to land the ball on the part of the bat that he wishes it to hit. And Ichiro was more than whatever that mastery is. Like when I'm watching this documentary between Greg Maddux and Barry Bonds, and I'm watching the two of them talk about the level of expertise that we're talking about here, it's something that you'd hear from LeBron on his JJ Redick podcast, which is better partnership than the one they have in basketball. What Ichiro did professionally from another land is a bit of one of these mysteries where you're like, I don't understand how he was able to combine the arts from his homeland on discipline to do something that is a failure game, and he failed at it less than most because of how he could control a baseball bat.
I've got the origin of Mother Bleeper. So it's not actually bleeping one's mother. It was used like, you know how you have a huge battle, the mother of all battles? This Sunday we have the mother of all AFC games. So what this signifies is you are essentially the mother of all bleepers.
How about that?
That's a stunner right there.
ChatGPT, man.
People say they don't learn anything from this show. I'm saying everyone in the audience just learned that right now. I'm saying there's not a person who knew that out there. Not one human being out there.
A little conflicted morally because of how great ChatGPT is in terms of an efficient search engine, but with every question that I ask it, it only gets more powerful.
Sometimes it is just wrong, though.
And I was like, yeah, I asked it, hey, can you give me some great television shows with a comma in it? And it gave me Friday Night Lights. And I'm like, ChatGPT, you're wrong.
So it's like mark too.
ChatGPT was like, you're right. I do have that wrong. I'm like, hold up.
So it's like Greg Cody. It's just like, look it up.
This is the first step to you falling in love with ChatGPT.
It's happening.
It's overrated.
Just
Google it.
I read an article. Some lonely people are falling in love with AI boyfriends because they just need a companion.
When you Google, there's AI too, Greg. So at this point, we have no information. And they're going to get rid of Wikipedia, so that's good too.
Okay. Yeah, Wikipedia's been trying to beg money for years now, huh? Whenever you go on it. No, Ichiro, in my 10 or 12 years voting, Ichiro and Derek Jeter have been the most perfect candidates imaginable. And it is funny, though, the fact that he didn't get one vote. He was one vote from being unanimous, and now it's a national scandal. Ridiculous. We don't agree with anything in this country. You could ask, do you believe in...
This is a new and unimproved Dan Le Batard show with the Stugotz. Gamble on by DraftKings.
My God, I wish this was on the air. Seconds left. I was timing my dismount so that it would be perfect. Can't work out. I hate the sound of that horn. It almost sounds like somebody scored a goal in a Panthers game. But I just hate everything about it because that time I had it all figured out. In 9 seconds, I was timing it right down to the... And that horn, totally unfair. Mother...
Hey, Jeremy.
Yes, Mike?
Have you ever had a fireside conversation during a football Sunday during the winter?
Sure. We don't have a lot of fireplaces down here, but I've had the premise of it.
I wish I could, but it's South Florida. When it gets down to the 60s, we're like, we're bundled up, but certainly no fireplaces. Still too warm for that. But we do have our football Sundays. And one thing that always makes football Sundays good, and I know you've had plenty of experience in your life with this, Miller Time.
Oh, yeah.
Miller Lite makes the winter better. It makes football Sundays better. It makes even hanging out around you better.
Thanks, Mike. That was kind.
I appreciate that. You're my friend. When I have a Miller Lite in my hand, pretty much everybody is my friend because we are like-minded. Because we like beer that actually tastes like beer. Oh, and now, the new year, it's the perfect time to have a Miller Time. Miller Lite is brewed for taste. People out there, I want you to listen to me. And Jeremy, you too. Because you know, it hits just different than other light beers. The original light beer since 1975, and still the very best one. Miller Lite. Great taste, 96 calories. Go to MillerLite.com/Dan to find delivery options near you. Or you can pick up some Miller Lite pretty much anywhere they sell beer. Tastes like Miller Time. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces.
Folks, the playoff season is here, and the only thing better than the game day predictions are the foods that come with them. Introducing Tums Fantasy Foodball Pool, brought to you by Tums, America's #1 antacid brand, and DraftKings. Each week leading up to the big game, turn football into foodball by building your best game day plate for a shot at winning a share of $40,000 in cash prizes. Inspired by game day bites and tailgate treats, join the Tums Foodball action during this playoff season's most heartburn-inducing times. Visit DraftKings.com/TumsFoodball between January 6th and February 9th to enter for free and select your game day plate before the start of each playoff round. Age and eligibility restrictions apply. Void where prohibited. See terms at DraftKings.com/TumsFoodball. When you feel the heat of the game, don't let the heartburn keep you on the sidelines. Try Tums Chewy Bites with a tasty outer shell and soft center for fast relief of heartburn, acid indigestion, and upset stomach. Check out Tums Gummy Bites, featuring a soft and easy-to-chew format for fast relief of occasional heartburn, acid indigestion, sour stomach, and upset stomach. Both available at Amazon, Target, and other major retailers nationwide. And for more heartburn relief fun, be sure to follow Tums at Tums Official on Instagram and TikTok.